it means a lot. The days back when I was still practicing this and streaming to 0 viewers, it means a lot that I got people on through the entire streams, and you're a big part of what happens here. So I appreciate you dropping in. And you're in StokerCon, which is virtual this year. That's cool. Yeah, definitely have fun at StokerCon. It's been a while since I've been there, and of course everything being virtual. But I've heard good things from lots of people, including some folks that mentioned they have virtual bars, so they're enjoying spending time with one another around the world. So that's kind of a cool little thing. One of the things I am going to mention tomorrow is the fact that I think virtual conventions do need to be explored more, because they've done some amazing stuff this past year and this year. And as we get back to live events, I'm concerned that all the stuff that they've kind of learned from these virtual activities may just go to the wayside. It's like, oh, thank goodness that's over, and so we push it all aside. Whereas like the virtual dealers rooms and the interaction and all the different ways that I've seen certain conventions innovate, kind of reminds me of sort of the corporate world doing more with this, and I wish that the writing industry would as well. KillerCon Virtual was one of my favorites. I thought that was probably one of the most amazing virtual events I'd been to. Um, Balticon next weekend, so I can compare the two. Is Balticon going to be virtual as well this year, or are they going back live? Um, so I do think that even as we go back to live events, it may not be a bad idea that we start looking at hybrid events. So you have the live event going on, but you have some online stuff going on at the same time, and so still virtual. Uh, but I think there's a lot of potential there. So if you combine the two, where you still have the live event, but you have things that are broadcast, things where people can interact that aren't at the event, you'll still have that live interaction, but your reach will go much, much further. I know that's a huge thing to ask of conventions, because running a virtual convention is very time consuming, and running a physical convention is very time consuming. And doing both is probably a logistical nightmare. But even just a few online events or streaming events would be huge, not only for the physical event, but also that idea of kind of drawing people in, and then people who want to come physically the next year, and just giving a better reach to the authors. So I think, unfortunately, if I had to guess, I'm guessing that a lot of what we've learned is going to go to the wayside. But I would love to encourage, especially people who still do live events like readings and things like that, to like embrace sort of the innovation that went into this pandemic, and not let that go away. Like actually build upon it. Even just filming live events and making them available after for free would be, for a fee, yeah, would be good. It's more inclusive for people who lack funds, mobility challenges, emotional challenges, yes. And it doesn't take anything away. It's not like broadcasting the events is going to make people say, well, I don't even have to buy a ticket and go there, because you're still going to have the same number of people who want to go physically. If you have people that sometimes will record things that they do at conventions and share them anyway, and if anything, it just makes people want to come more. It doesn't make them say, well, I can see all this stuff for free or not have to do it. And again, I don't know what's going to become of it, but anybody that's considering that, I'd really look forward to it. The first physical event I'm going to do, and of course, with being a kidney transplant patient and on immunosuppression, I had to be very, very careful through all this time, probably more careful than most of my neighbors. The first physical event I'm going to is Scares That Care this year. And so that's going to be late July, beginning of August. And so it's kind of right at that point where we're going to hit that, they say herd immunity probably isn't the right word anymore, just because of the technical definitions there, but essentially being close to that 70, 80, 90% of adults vaccinated, is going to be kind of that safety level, and especially myself being vaccinated now, where we can kind of get back to normal. If that event were happening right now, I wouldn't go. So it's kind of right out on that edge where it can happen. Scares is in Williamsburg, Virginia, and enjoyed that as well. No, you didn't flood the chat. It's fine. I saw it coming up, but I just didn't get to it until I scrolled back. So you're not doing anything wrong. I appreciate you jumping in. Yeah, so it's in Williamsburg, Virginia. I've enjoyed the other years. This is going to be a strange year. Thank you for sharing the link there, Zach. I like that one, just the environment, because it is for a good cause. So you're raising money to help very specific families. So it has a different vibe than other conventions. Like, people aren't, you still have folks in there that get upset and have egos and stuff like that. But the overwhelming feel among the authors, among the actors that are there, among the attendees, is that we're kind of a community, and we're working for a bigger cause, something bigger than ourselves. And so it takes on a different vibe. It feels like you're accomplishing something, and the people who go to that convention still interact during the year as well. Having missed it last year, and they tried to expand it to another location this past year, and of course the pandemic site derailed that. So maybe they'll try that again this coming year, and I may try to attend both if I have the funds. But it's going to be interesting this year because you got a lot of people that that are just itching to get back to a convention. So you're likely to have a lot of people coming in. You have other people backing off, either because they're not ready yet, or they're concerned that the attendance is going to be lower, that kind of thing. So anything could happen. It could be a flood year where you got all these people that spent a year not going to conventions, and now they're looking to buy all the books they would have bought for the last 2 years, or who knows what might happen. I don't even care about the sales all that much. Of course, I take the money and I'm happy with it. But when I'm at my table or whatever and have all that stuff up, just being back at it is going to be what it's about for me. And my wife's going to come with me, and we always enjoy that time together. So it's going to be interesting, kind of getting back to real life, quote unquote, and kind of seeing how things have changed on the other side of all this. But like I said, there's a lot I learned over this past year, just the way I was doing things online. That's completely changed the way I write and the way I promote and everything else. So I'm excited about that.